Wow, Dustin's off, huh? R.I.P. to Dustin. Dustin Simonovic, man. I kind of like having you, Alyssa, doing this. No, as always, appreciate you guys joining us. Some housekeeping things. One, man, what about Derek Queen, right? What a great start. Congrats to Coach Willard, the basketball programs, for starting and kicking off their season, which takes a little bit of emphasis off of the old football program, which is a good thing. Obviously, Derek Queen, great start. I'm looking forward to getting over to see both those programs play. Obviously, today, incredibly significant day for our country, and as some of you guys probably saw in the article, we've had 100% voters registration with our team, and we also worked on educating our players on how to vote, how to do research, credible research on candidates. And this is something that's really important to me and that I'm really proud of our team for accomplishing this. As young men, I want our players to know how necessary and important their voices are. And, I want them to understand the power of showing up and making themselves heard, whether it's through voting, but this also kind of segues into wanting them to show up and make themselves heard this Saturday when we go to Eugene, Oregon. Every single player, every coach, every person that's a part of our program, all are 1,000% locked in on the task of going to Eugene and having an opportunity to play the best team in the country, in my opinion, having a chance to watch, including some of the guys that missed the Minnesota game. So to be able to have some guys, healthy bodies back, the last week has been a good week for us in terms of being healthy, being able to practice, to continue to develop our team. We know how tough it's going to be to go on the road and play the number one team in the country, but I promise you this, nobody in Jones Hill House is concerned about getting on a plane to go play. I mean, we have a good football team still. I feel pretty confident that this team will show up and be heard. Oregon is one of those teams that's talented in all three phases: offense, defense, special teams. This team is immature at times and just, as I like to say, just dumb enough to show up and play up to the opponent. And Oregon is one of those teams that, as I've seen this team do the last few years, they have a tendency to play up. And as I told them, we don't necessarily have to play above our abilities, because we do have talent, we have skill that matches up. But what we've got to do is play smart. We've got to go out, play together, and then we've got to execute, because it's going to come down to execution in terms of the players making plays. And I know they'll play to the last second, as we've done in all of our games. So the game captains for this week going out to Eugene: Tommy Akingba-Sote, Roman Hemby, Dante Trader, and Rex Fleming will represent us as captains. And with that, I'll open it up to any questions you guys have.
Hey, Mike, how much of a distraction, or is it, when there's a number one in front of the opponent you're playing, and is there any danger of making the game maybe bigger than in what it is, this one game?
Not at all. It's our next game. I mean, this league has had a lot of number one teams in the country over the course of the season. It's a good league, and so the number in front doesn't. I mean, we don't emphasize that. I mean, we watch the tape. They're a good team. They're good in all three phases. They're well coached. Again, from the same family tree. So as I told our staff, you know what, they prepare the way we do. They have some of the same recipes of how to prepare and organize their programs, and very similar to what we have. And so it's not going to come down to out scheming them. It's going to come down to players making plays and us putting them in the best positions to make those plays.
Do you tell players to kind of stay off social media and not watch the sports shows? Everyone's saying how great Oregon is, and
I don't, because I don't watch it. And I mean, I think our guys understand. The only thing that matters is what we think. And I mean, this generation is a lot more savvy, maybe because they're used to social media. They're used to. I mean, I'd be lying if I told you I thought that they would not look at it or have. I mean, you pick up your phone, and the way these phones work, things just pop up. If I'm thinking about something, and all of a sudden, how to deal with the media. The next thing you know, I got 6 reels on how to deal with the media popping up on my timeline. So it'd be foolish to think that they don't, but it's not something that we coach, because the way we prepare is we don't let outside noise distract us. We got to focus on the things we can control.
Mike, traveling 3 time zones away, the logistics involved with making it not an issue as far as making sure everything goes as planned.
I can tell you the truck just got through Nebraska, our truck with all of our equipment safely through Nebraska, so should be reaching Oregon sometime tomorrow, I think, is what I heard today. No, I mean, it's obviously new to us, but it's, with anything, we try to rehearse, you do the research, you try to figure out the best way to have your team prepared, and I think we think we're not doing anything that's other teams haven't done doing the research. We're leaving a day earlier than we typically do to give us a little time to acclimate out there to the time zone differences. So we'll get there Thursday to practice, and then use Friday for meetings and just acclimate, and then we'll have a Friday walk like we typically do, and then play the game at 7:00 p.m.
Also, Dylan Gabriel's made quite a splash out there. How does he differ from some of the other guys you have faced?
He makes them go,
he put on
man.
your secondary?
He makes them go, and he's a really talented player. I swear he's been there for 10 years. It seems like I've heard his name for 10 years in college football, and the kid, all the kid does is just make plays, whether he extends it in the pocket. He is the guy that makes it go. You think, the compliment to him is the powerful running game, and you know what? This is the first group of running backs where, these guys make the run game go. Typically, the O-line make it go, but these guys, these 2 running backs are both power, downhill, attack, the line of scrimmage kind of guys, and I think their big boys feed off of their style of play. And so, you put a big-time quarterback that has the ability to extend plays in the pocket with a strong run game. And then, I know their defense very well. Tosh Lupoy and I worked together at Bama. Tosh is an unbelievable coach. I was a coordinator on offense, and he coordinated on defense. So I know Dan Lanning's input on the defense. He spent time at Georgia, and obviously we played against Georgia when I was there at Bama every year. So a lot of familiarities going into the game. The talented team, I feel good about our team showing up and being heard. So excited about this opportunity.
Hey, Coach. No, you had talked about the Big Ten initiative you went to in Alabama.
Get your camera like that.
Recording today. Big Ten initiative in Alabama, and then the voting, obviously, is a very cool thing. What is this election? Why do you think you took such drastic strides this year? Or is it just you would do this in any year?
I didn't just do it this year. We did it in 2020.
Do you think that this year with everything going on, it even adds to the kind of importance of it, or?
Not really. I just think I'm a solution-based guy, whether you believe it or not. And when 2020 hit, our players spoke. I have a leadership council still to this day, and I use them to figure out, what things we can do as a program that adds value to their life outside of just NIL, and this is one of them. I mean, I know I didn't take advantage of the opportunity to vote until very late in my, early adult years. And I wanted to educate our guys that don't sit around and just complain about problems, man. Like, we all complain too much. Well, get out and do something about it. Get out and vote. Every vote counts, and I don't care who you vote for.
And then on the football side, Oregon obviously one of the best passing offenses in the Big Ten. You talked about Gabriel. How much is the pass rush when you play? Because their offensive line
I mean, they protect him well because he manipulates the pocket. If you want to watch tape of how you manage a pocket, because he doesn't need a lot of space to throw, and so they do a good job of protecting him. But he also is really crafty inside the pocket area, which allows him to extend plays. And I don't care how good a coverage or how much pass rush you have. If the quarterback has extra time to throw, it's not a great recipe for defensive backs. And so, we're going to need to have the ability to contain them. And get after them some, but I think the ebb and flow of pressure and coverage is what typically gives quarterbacks problems. When you just do one thing, they adjust to it, they max protect, and now they create time. So I just think we're going to have to be able to do both, cover and contain them and rush.
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
What's up, G?
You had the unique opportunity this season with 2 bye weeks, one just a month ago. Coming out of this one, is there anything that you guys did differently from a month ago?
We did. We practiced. You know, we didn't have a Monday. Our Mondays typically are light days. Well, we put in most of the game plan. Typically, we put in most of it. Last week, we put every phase of our game plan in. We came back in Sunday, added the Michigan data to our game plan analysis, and confirmed whether or not these things we worked on a week ago. So basically, we've had 2 go runs of our 4-day cycle to prepare. You know, typically we would come in on a Monday, have a lighter practice, and then just Tuesday, Wednesday. But we actually are going to have 8 full days to prepare. And the biggest piece for us is just getting some of those bodies that we missed against Minnesota. Those guys are healthy finally, and to be able to add the depth back to our team, which allows us to practice the way we need to practice.
Hey, Coach.
What's up, big man?
Slow starts this season have been relatively common. From a coaching perspective, what is the recipe to avoid getting off the slow starts? Is it preparation? Execution?
Now, you checked your stats, because, like, is it slow start every game we've had one? I don't know that.
Yeah, it's been.
So which stats did you have?
You guys have trailed, I believe, by the trail.
Okay. So the slow start isn't necessarily the first drive or the first, you're talking about being down at the half. Yeah.
Just kind of getting off to the slow start. Just what, from a coaching perspective, is it based on preparation, execution, a little bit of both? Just
All of the above. All of the above. I mean, how do you get your quarterback going quicker? Defensively, how do we get off the field on third down? Did we get the right call? I mean, there's no one secret answer to starting fast other than execution. This is an execution sport. You want to start fast, block the guys you're supposed to block, be in the gaps you're supposed to be in, cover the man you're supposed to cover. Those are execution things.
And then you've talked a couple times this season about making sure your team doesn't look at the scoreboard throughout the game. Is there kind of a mental challenge, because these are college kids, these aren't professional athletes, and making sure they stay focused?
You have to ask them. I typically, that's part of our deal. The scoreboard creates anxiety, and so I try to teach guys things going into it that, you know, when you look at that scoreboard, it creates either you to feel really good about, hey, we're up, or start pressing, man, we're down. And so to me, the key to having success it's the turtle race. It's just persevering through the tough times, whether it's a slow start or a fast start. You know, just keep persevering, keep taking the next step, stay focused on the task at hand. And the more you can teach 18 to 22-year-old males with all this testosterone running through them to do that, the better society will be, the better our community will be.
Coach, here in the back on the camera. With all this cross-country travel, can imagine some of the athletes are missing some class time. Some of their families may not be able to get all the way out there to Oregon. Tell me how you as a coach and a staff are preparing for some of those academic and personal challenges.
I think the big thing, so we are traveling our academic counselors to this game with us, because this is a crunch time for us, and this is unique for football. I know this happens in basketball all the time with the Tuesday, Thursday type games that they play. So our academic people are used to it. You know, a lot of these classes our guys take are either online, but because we are traveling a day early, they're given the ability to either make up the work or get it done early. And our players understand, you know, what it takes, and they are still student athletes. And, you know, we will travel our academic counselors to help for guys as we sit around the hotel on Friday, and then Thursday evening we'll have some study hall opportunities for our players and to kind of get things accomplished during the day.
And personally, what about having like their families not being able to go all the way out to Oregon?
Yeah, those are the decisions. Those are tough decisions that families have to make, and this is where, thank goodness for NIL, because I know some kids' families are able, and I know this. Most of the families on our team have the ability to make it if they desire to make it. It's a tough trip. It's a long trip for anybody that's from this area that they're recruiting. It's really long trip to go way out to Oregon from Maryland, D.C.
Mike, what have the conversations been with Billy heading into this game, given his 4 interceptions in the last 3 years? Is that even a concern for you?
It's not a concern because, you can count the interceptions, you can count slow starts, but if you watch the tape, he got hit in the chest, and the interception would have been a touchdown possibly. But if a if was a fifth, we'd be drunk too. So I would just say that, we're preparing Billy like we've done when he was one of the leading passers in the country. These are growing pains. He's in his 8th or 9th start, I think, as a starter. Every game he plays is filling his toolbox up with experiences that will benefit us.
Have you talked with Drew Hampton, who's your guys' football operations, about the challenges that, I know you said the truck left early. What has he told you? Have you guys conversed about it?
So Annie Papard, our football operations, she's trains, planes, automobiles, and I'm gonna just tell you, she knows I don't like working ahead. I don't know if y'all heard, I had a a snafu a couple weeks ago, and I was like, we're heading to Oregon or something after a game, and it's because she was talking to me about the Oregon trip. So her job is to have it. Annie is the best in the business at it. Whether it's setting us up for bowls, and luckily for us, having gone to bowls the last 3 years, we know how to pack the right way and set up shop. We'll be there for a couple of days, obviously, but the job Annie does, the logistics involved, all the people that are involved, but Annie Papard runs that piece. Drew's responsible for the helmets and shoulder pads showing up, which, Annie organizes it, but Drew is best in business when it comes to the equipment as well. So great staff, man, 1,000% locked in. I don't think it's going to be no more. Listen, you got me up here a long time, boy. Where's Dustin at?
Hey, Coach. The guys spoke to you about the beginning of the season. Really had a good game last week. DJ Samuels.
He had a good game? What? Oh, because he caught a touchdown? All right, he did. He likes football, but he's a football player.
Yeah, I'm curious.
So, did you go to school with him or something? Because you had a love affair with him.
He's from a school very close to them.
I figured.
Bergen Catholic, so.
No, DJ is a football player, and anybody that's coached and if you know Bergen Catholic is they do a tremendous job of developing players, a big-time program, very similar to a couple of the ones that are around here. And I've always said DJ loves football. I just got to get DJ to do all the other things the right way. So he's working and maturing, and I see him. He's a football player that you'll start to see. I think as he matures, you'll see his football become even more important.
And just what are those early things he's done so far to earn a bigger role?
We playing him on both sides of the ball. He caught a touchdown as a fullback. He's a versatile guy. He likes contact. A lot of guys don't like contact that play football. Just so you know, some people don't like contact. He's not one of those guys. He plays with bend, he plays with power. Not the tallest, not the biggest, not the fastest, but something about football players. I got another guy, Judah Jenkins, is very similar to him. There's some traits about football players, and they usually are guys that like the physicality that comes with it, and DJ's one of them.
Like Oregon's defense, their pass rush, I think 3rd in the Big Ten in sacks. What sort of challenges will that provide your offense?
Tosh does a really good job. The big key is staying out of the 3rd down situations, be honest, because if you look at their disruptive or havoc rate, the 3rd down package that he has, his background, NFL background, once he left Bama, understanding, we got to stay out of the 3rd downs and 3rd and longs against this team, which means we got to be efficient on 1st and 2nd down. But their front 7 is the strength of their defense, and they, number one, I know he played 30 plays. Birch played 30 plays last game and is working back from injury, and he's a big disruptor, and a couple of the interior guys really disruptive. Both interior linebackers are guys that are pass rushers, have the ability to bring extra people, and it's going to be a challenge. Thanks, guys.
Safe travels.
Yes. Popping on.